LeFevreFever, LeFevreFever, my artist name. This is Nickie Spitfire, with the S and the X in between the fire. So on behalf of Rap Wars and Spoken Wars, it's a communication channel where we all kind of talk to each other and like podcast style interviews and with other artists, and it's pretty fun. I like it a lot.
Awesome.
That's we also do battle raps in there too, like in Spoken Wars TV, and we do merch. There's merch on the side of it as well. If you ever want to get merch, I probably need to get merch myself, but
Okay.
Anyway,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, and then I'll introduce Nickie Spitfire. Where did the artist name come from? When it comes to Nickie Spitfire,
my artist name,
yeah,
came from, honestly, my name is Nick, so I always just enjoyed using Nickie as a synonym, and as like just a different name. And Spitfire, I just wanted to make a statement with my name, I guess,
right?
Saying, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna put 110% in every verse, and try and spit fire. I guess.
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. I love that.
I just try to keep it simple and not overthink my name, I guess, and I don't know. It always just rolled off the tongue well to me.
Right. That does actually roll off the tongue pretty well, actually. Think about it.
Yeah.
Just like how mine is, like with LeFevreFever, like it's
Exactly.
basically like
Yep.
rolls off the tongue, but it's like rhyming off my last name. Basically, it's all it really is.
Right. Yeah, that's all I did with my first name. So.
Yeah, so we're just like there. That's cool.
Right.
Any musical influences or inspirations that you have?
So as far as just general music, definitely Van Halen.
Van
Is a
Halen.
first that comes to mind. Classic rock. I mean, I grew up on a lot of that. A lot of old like R&B. My mom listened to a lot of Marvin Gaye.
I heard about that.
Yeah, a lot of Isley Brothers. Just a lot of that old style music. A lot of '90s stuff too. Grunge.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom was into a ton of stuff. Other than that, like as far as like hip hop, my biggest influence will always be Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac is definitely up there as far as everyone.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people would say that, but I think
but
it's
no,
a little
really,
different.
like for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a little different for me. I don't know. I just I gravitated towards him at like 6, 7 years old. My brother got me into him.
That's awesome.
And it was just since then I always, through all like a lot of the stuff that's happened to me, a lot of trauma, Tupac's always been a constant. So that's gotten me through. And as far as like newer influences, obviously Suicide Boys, it's probably pretty evident in my music. Otherwise,
the money sign and everything.
The money sign, exactly. Yeah, I mean, got to give credit where credit's due. So
right.
I like God Hand a lot. It's wearing their hat.
Nice.
I've gotten into them more recently, probably the last 6 to 9 months, and I like them a lot. Freddie Dredd, of course, will always be. Bones. A lot of those like underground per se.
Yeah.
Hip hop artists I like.
Right. And I be going my own kind of influences and inspirations a little bit. It's like NF for sure for me.
I like NF. Yeah, I like NF.
It's been like a huge one.
He's really good.
And so like when I was just relating it back to because you were talking about like your influences, and I was like, and how much they inspired you and your music, and how much you wanted to like, kind of lift. What am I trying to say? Like use their name, and then hopefully you do it to the best that you can basically.
Yeah, like in my own spin with it, not just like coming
Yeah.
out completely copying, like, I don't know, taking my story or like what's happened in my life, um,
Right.
and putting my own spin on it, I guess. Taking their influence and maybe some old school like Tupac,
Right.
whatever, influences and I even incorporate some like metal screams into it because I used to do metal music. So I
Right.
I try and, change it up, I guess, a little bit. I don't know.
And that actually is pretty awesome. Like it shows your versatility and like
Yeah.
you're able to like
That's
do
what I'm hoping
multiple
to
things at
show
once.
people that I have something unique, I guess, in my sound.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, seeing your was it too much fire left in the tank or something? I can't remember exactly what you said.
There's always that little fire left in you.
Yeah.
That
What
one.
was that all about? And what was the how long did it take you to make it?
It actually took me a while. I mean, I had the one beat for Tunnel Vision for a
Hmm.
while, and I just kind of revamped the version, and it tells the story of how my family has passed. Like my dad passed when I was 10, and my mom passed when I was 15, and then my brother passed when I was 20. So
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
just
sorry
telling the
about that.
story of that through two songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh,
Which I'm
I've
sure
had
is
that beat.
relatable to a lot of people too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had that beat for a while, probably about a year and a half, maybe even two, and just kind of revamped it quite a bit. And then finally, I took the time and sent it to a producer and who mixed it properly. And
That's awesome.
did some videos with a friend named John Fleshman. He's in Toledo, Ohio, so he really took the time to storyboard the videos and take my vision and put it into life.
That's cool.
So
And that's definitely something I need to get myself more into is like getting my vision to put the whole life like
a videographer can definitely
yeah,
help
the
that.
whole
Yeah,
team kind of thing.
100%.
Yeah. Do you have any features or collabs coming up soon?
I have one coming up with 0610. He's
Okay.
uh he's actually making some pretty big waves in the underground scene, I think.
That's pretty
Um
cool.
and is doing some pretty unique stuff too. He's got some like screams on some of his newer stuff, and I really like him. It's
That's
more of like
awesome.
just a straight hip hop track, but it kind of showcases more of like a harder style for me. I've since there's always that little fire left in you is more like softer,
Mhm.
more emotional, I guess. This is more in your face and just raw like hip hop, just that
Straight up hip hop
raw
right in the face.
sound that
Yeah.
I'm looking for. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
or whereas, just kind of had to get that solo stuff out and get that story told, I think, and then move on. And I like more of like the harder style anyway.
Yeah.
So that's
I
coming
like
up, and then I do also have a collab album I'm working on
oof.
with Killamonte. He's
I've
he's
heard Kill Monkey.
Yeah, he's from Texas. So
That's
working on
awesome.
that with him. I have one song out with him already, called Renegade. So just
That's awesome.
working on an album with him, a collab album, and then other than that, kind of focusing more on like solo stuff. So trying to get like a solo album out towards the end of the year.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
What do you think would be your? I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead, but what do you think would
Mhm.
be your vision for that one? Like your next album?
For an album, God, I don't even know. Definitely more introspective, maybe a mix of like that like emotional, like slower and the
Yeah.
harder style, I guess. Kind of I like telling a story. I like maybe even a concept album, telling a story through an
Yeah.
album and intros, interludes, like making sure people can follow the album front to back.
That's
So
awesome.
that's more of just the stage that I'm in right now. I haven't really thought about too much. There's definitely some producers that I'm looking at to work with. I like Bumboy a lot. A lot of his stuff I've been looking at to use for the album specifically.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
yeah.
That's really awesome. So we pretty much talked about your genres of music and what you primarily make. So you're kind of like all over the place. You have a good variety in your music, and
Yeah.
when it comes to metal to hip hop to just about anything you can think of. Um, so after this interview, especially, where is your social media handle, or what are your social media handles actually?
Most of them are just Nickie, Nickie, SPITFXRE. Most of that is just, yeah, that should be the same on, I think, on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Twitter. Actually, I don't have a Twitter. I just use a personal, but yeah, it should be the same on pretty much all the other socials.
Awesome. I'll keep that in mind for the people watching for so where you can find Nickie Spitfire.
Yeah.
So are you on all platforms, or are you mostly on SoundCloud? Like, where's your music?
I am on SoundCloud too, but mostly Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal. I think most of the current ones.
Sweet.
I think DistroKid sends it out to most of them.
And I'm actually on DistroKid as well, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I like DistroKid.
Yeah, it's pretty fast and pretty reliable for the most part. If you get
It is. Yeah, I haven't really had any issues.
Yeah, that's good. So you're on DistroKid. What is your why? Like, why do you go to your music? Like,
Why make music?
yeah, like what is your why?
Um,
Quote unquote.
I don't know. I've always had a draw to music. I've always just wanted to have a voice and
Yeah.
just create, even if it really doesn't go anywhere. It's just kind of therapeutic in a way for me after like all that stuff has happened
Oh,
to me in my
yeah.
life. Just an outlet, that's all.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere. But I mean, would I like it to? Of course, yeah.
Right.
I'm a nurse, so,
Oh,
and I
okay.
work nights, so it's been good to me, but would I like to just make music full time? Of course.
Yeah.
It would be
Sure.
nice. It would be
Yeah.
nice on my body and my health and my mental to get out of
Hmm.
bedside nursing at least and make music. But at some point, I'll do some work from home stuff. So either
Right.
way, we'll figure it out. I got the backup, so
That's good. Yeah, nursing
yeah,
that definitely carry you for a while,
right,
as far as the money and everything,
exactly, yeah.
and caring for people. That's actually pretty cool too. Serving
Yeah,
people.
it's good experience too, and just life experience, just dealing with people.
Hmm. What would you say is your brand and your identity? Like, what would you resemble your music as a whole body of work as?
Um, my music, it feels vulnerable, but telling a story through, I got some metaphors through sound, through using my voice as an instrument.
Yeah.
I feel like not enough rappers do that specifically.
Right.
I feel like you have to do that as a metal artist. Like, there's this
Yeah, I
Lorna
would say
Shore
that.
band, and this guy does this like very unique, like crazy growl scream, and it's like him because he does that. It's
Hmm.
not like, I don't know, somebody else does it a million times
Right.
over. It's unique to him, and he's using his voice as an instrument. And so I guess that's my identity, is using my voice as an instrument and saying something through my music instead of just bullshit.
Whatever superficial stuff everyone says nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta say some of that. It's rap music, of
Yeah.
course. It's
Right.
gonna be. You gotta say metaphors
Exactly.
and stuff. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like using my voice to mean something to reach people and just even save one person. As cliche as it sounds.
Yeah. That's how I usually am too. Like when I first
Yeah.
started, it was also like just because of NF, like a huge like that's like my main inspiration is NF,
Yeah,
and
NF.
he's the reason why I got into music writing. So
Right.
And ever since it's been like a big project. Like I'm always into stories. Like you know how NF's like in stories.
Oh yeah, he's a big time storyteller. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like very into like album concepts and like building a story and a narrative between everything I
Right.
do. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Exactly.
so yeah, it's kind of like what you do too. It's pretty cool.
Right.
More on the vulnerable side. What's your songwriting process, if you would say you had it?
So my writing process is I don't produce. At some point I'd like to, but I
Mhm.
usually I find a beat on like BeatStars, and then from there either I'll contact the artist or just buy it outright on BeatStars.
Yeah,
Um, I usually like to have like the track stems or like the track each track individual track of the beat, so I
right.
can mix it and change things and stuff too. But
That's
for the
cool.
most part, just take it and just seeing if anything comes comes to mind.
And usually the
Um,
first thing that comes to mind is usually the thing you run with, right?
yeah, exactly. Like a core, especially if a chorus pops in my head, I'll start taking that and run with it, and if take that
Yeah.
concept and start telling a story.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take you to make a song?
So it usually varies, but anywhere from a couple weeks to a month usually, and from starting to finish.
Dang.
I wish I could be quicker. Like I think Tupac was doing like 6, 7 songs a day or something. But
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
think that was a different time. Whereas the studio was the studio, and I have a
Yeah,
studio here. I don't have to go and pay for time. I don't. It's not a
that's
time
awesome.
whole time crunch. I don't have to um, put all this pressure into making like an album in a couple weeks like he had to.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. Because when you're on a record label, usually they push you to do stuff a
yeah,
lot.
exactly, and that's what it was. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Record labels.
Yeah, it's exactly. What's your goals for like in the future? Like if you had, like for example, streaming. If the streaming wasn't there, where would you put your music? Like CDs, vinyls. Like what would your strategy be like that?
I love vinyl, so definitely vinyl. A CD, of course. Yeah, CDs. I mean, when I first started out making music, it was probably 2008, 2009, and CDs were still pretty. I mean, streaming wasn't really a thing, so CDs
Yeah.
were still pretty popular. And in my first band, we would print out just our first demo, couple song demo. It didn't sound very good at all, and we would hand them out at local shows. So
That's
I
cool.
would definitely go back to that idea. We would have business cards we'd hand out. I would go back to that with, I mean, if the QR code thing was still around, then I would do that for, if you
Yeah,
want to purchase my CD physically or merch. I would hit the streets. Yeah, I would just talk to people.
that's awesome.
That's what
That's
that's
that's a
what
good
the,
strategy.
that's what some of the first hip hop artists did too. I mean, like Wu Tang literally broke into a radio station to get one of their songs played, or like
Yeah.
you know,
Or
forced the guy
didn't
to play
Kanye
it,
do that too a
whatever.
little bit?
What's that?
Didn't Kanye do that too a little bit? Like just handing stuff out and getting to the
Yep,
Rock Nation.
kind of just forced his way into circles, and yeah, because Def Jam was giving him the runaround.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dang. That's cool. So what's your like future? Do you want to be like on a record label in the future? Do you want to like be independent forever? Like what's your strategy that way?
Ideally, I would like to just stay independent. I mean, the only way I would sign to a record label was really if it just made sense.
Yeah.
Because it seems like record labels, for the most part, just want majority. So anything over 50-50 wouldn't make sense to me. And I'm like, most labels would probably want more than that. So if not,
Right.
even higher. So
Yeah.
um, I mean, of course, if like G59, like Gray 59, got a hold of me, that I would definitely consider that. But again, I would have to look at like the conditions. So
Right.
financially, it probably wouldn't ever make sense, and I would just stay independent because you can go somewhere being independent now.
Yeah, and you have your own voice and your own like direction you want to go into. Like you don't have to
Right.
have the label telling you to do this or do that, whatever.
Exactly.
So that's cool. Well, anything else you want to say to the crowd? Because I'm out of notes, not on my own paper, but
No, I think honestly we covered pretty much everything that I could think of.
okay.
Just follow me on my socials, Nickie Spitfire. I do have a website too, spitfire.org with the X instead of an I at the end there.
Nice.
And yeah, just keep an eye out. I got a song coming with 610. I got another single coming out and a collab album and a solo album, hopefully towards the end of the year.
Sweet. Yep. Stay tuned. Stay on the lookout for Nickie Spitfire because he's gonna Spitfire.
Thank you.
He's coming. Yep. You're welcome. And I'm also LeFevreFever. This is from Spoken Words Rap Wars. This is our podcast we just had. An interview with Nickie Spitfire. Got too fast over my words. And we are set to go. You have a nice day, Nickie Spitfire. Or
You too.
Nickie. And yeah.
See you later, man.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yep. That was me, Nickie Spitfire. You can follow him where he said is on his thing. I'll even, if you didn't catch what he said, I'll just, give it to you straight right here. His name is Nickie, Nickie, with a money sign as a S, spit, and then X, where there be the F, and then RE. So that's Nickie Spitfire. I'm LeFevreFever as far as Rap Wars and Spoken Wars goes, because I'm affiliated with them. But yeah, that was a good interview. I was actually a blast. I could learn a lot from that guy. But yeah, guys have a good one. Stay blessed. Have a good Sunday.